Today we're going to be ranking every single fighter within the lightweight division. Firstly, we know Ilia Topuria is the best fighter in this division. That's pretty obvious. You know, he's destroyed names like Max Holloway, Volkanovski, elite boxing, good wrestling, took down Charles Oliveira. Need I say more? I mean, that's obvious. Let's get on to the next number one contender, in my opinion, in this fucking division. Let's do it. It's Arman Tsarukyan. This dude was able to stuff takedowns from Islam Makhachev earlier in the day when he was just a tadpole in the UFC at like 24-25. And he's coming off a win against Charles Oliveira, which he beats up Max. Charles beats up Justin. So he beats up the guy that beats up other guys within the top 5 of this division. So it's obviously Arman number 1. Number 2 is obviously Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira beat up Justin back in the day. He beat up Dustin. Now he's beat up Max, controlled everyone. So these are pretty obvious for number 1 and number 2 contenders. They need to have a rematch, speaking of that. But some of you are going to call me crazy for this, but at number 3, I got Benoit Saint Denis. I know my boy got slaughtered by Moicano, but his grappling is simply better than Gaethje and Max Holloway. I think that he can just hold them down and get a submission or TKO them the ground and pound. You know, and Benoit also knocked out Beneil Dariush in 15 seconds in the clinch, which is just insane, completely face planted him. So the dude has a lot of power and has great takedowns. He absolutely babied Dan Hooker, although he does have the head movement of a cinder block. So if you start to box him up, that's a concern. So Max Holloway might be able to do that, but I think the grappling's just too overwhelming against him. Now stop playing around. At number 4, it's my boy Max Holloway. Yeah, no one's touching Max Holloway here. Great boxing, great defensive boxing, great defensively on the takedowns, on the grappling. He's overall solid. It's just Charles is one of the best wrestlers of all time with great BJJ, so he kind of just stunned him on the ground there. So Max Holloway is at number 4. Now, number 5 is obviously Justin Gaethje. He's just old, tough, durable, beats up these other good strikers like Rafael Fiziev, holds Paddy away from, cracking into the top 5, getting an interim shot. He's just a crafty old unk that has a lot of power still and a lot of durability and great defensive wrestling, as we've seen. Now, this is another crazy take, but mark my words on this. Quillen Southkill is the 6th best lightweight in this division. And you can't even really call it glaze because he one-punched a dude, he head kicked the dude out cold. In his most recent fight against Malarkey, he subbed him in round 1. He had a unanimous decision. He has great chain wrestling. It's literally he's everything you need as a prospect. And he's only 26 years old too, and he's Australian, so you know he brings that grit and you know he has a good chin. So great prospect here. I expect him to climb far, if not even get a title shot. I just think he's number 6 skill-wise right now. He's solid everywhere. And in Perth, he is going to destroy Beneil Dariush. It's going to be bad, bro. It's going to be bad. Number 7 was a hard one to pick, but I picked Mateusz Gamrot. Now, Mateusz Gamrot beat a young Arman in 2022, and he just beat another great young prospect in Esteban Rubovic, and he lost to Dan Hooker, but that was kind of a robbery. He has great wins and amazing wrestling, which kind of cancels out fighters like Paddy Pimblett and Roofy because he can just grapple spam and hold his zone really well, and his striking's improving too. I don't think Roofy and Paddy are going to be able to beat him, so he's here. And at number 8, we got Renato Moicano. He is the definition of a crafty unk. Great win over BSD, he has great body locks, he has decent striking. I mean, you know the UFC released a video on all of his fights, and it was 11 hours long? This dude has been tested in battle and went against some of the best fighters for a long time. So he definitely knows how to engage in firefights and how to weather the storm. He just recently had a win against Duncan, and he proves a spot here as a solid contender. Now, next up is Mauricio Rufy at number 9. See, he's an easy fighter to explain. Elite specialist on the feet, subpar grappling, okay submission defense. BSD got it down, but that's because BSD's aggressive. Someone like Paddy will try to take his time. And I don't know if you can take your time against Mauricio Rufy because he's a sniper. That spinning heel kick against Bobby Green was insane. And at number 10, I think this is where we put Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett's insanely durable, but he does have horrible boxing. He has decent kickboxing, good enough to overwhelm someone like Michael Chandler, but not good enough to overwhelm someone like Mauricio Rufy. I think that if he tries to stand Mauricio Rufy, he'd get cooked. Decent jiu-jitsu, not the best. It's not like we've seen him prove it against anyone. I mean, dude went to decision with Tony Ferguson, so he's a durable guy that has a chance to submit you in decent kickboxing. Now at number 11, we got Rafael Fiziev. He's great at kickboxing and has decent Muay Thai, but his grappling's just not elite. And he has a decent chin, but it can get cracked pretty easily, as we saw against Mauricio Rufy. Anyone that's really a specialist is going to give him a really rough time on the ground. Gamrot beats him. On the feet, Rufy beats him. Paddy would probably be able to sub him if he got him down. I mean, Gaethje was able to out-wrestle him for a little bit, so he's really durable, strong, can take body kicks, a tank. You can crack him and you can beat him. Number 12, I think this could change a lot depending on how we see Manuel Torres fight other people, but so far he's been knocking everyone out. We don't know how good his wrestling is. We don't know how good his... We know how good his boxing is. He has slick boxing. How can he defend submissions? How can he chain grapple? Is jiu-jitsu up to par? You know, for Manuel Torres was a decent talent, but we haven't seen enough from him to really confirm him as one of the highest level guys. I'm just very high on Quillen, but I'm not as high on Manuel Torres. Now at number 13, we got a guy that's on a similar trajectory as Manuel Torres. His name's Fares Ziam. He gets a lot of KOs and a lot of decisions, but he's really tall and lengthy and young for the division. But he's just got to go out there and prove it against some higher ranked guys, which I think he definitely can. So he deserves being right here. But holy shit, man. His KOs are brutal. And the thing is, sometimes Ziam's a little too confident and a little too educated. Like, he'll just hold people up against the fence and then just wait and get takedowns off the fence. It's almost kind of like how Khabib used the fence, but just less skilled, obviously. He's also just got dangerous skills everywhere, from knees to elbows to takedowns. So he's overall a complete fighter, and I can't wait to see him against the rest of the division. Now, for the 14 and 15 spot, I'm going to add one more spot. I'm going to add a 16 spot because Beneil Dariush, Dan Hooker, and Michael Chandler are all in a scenario where they need to prove if they still got it. Beneil being 36, Hooker being 36, and Michael Chandler being 40, they're on a spot where they're not doing the greatest. Maybe they've taken a couple L's, maybe they've gotten KO'd, lost a decision, and they all need to come out there and show why they're still some of the best in the world. Can they do it? I don't think Beneil Dariush is going to do it. I think Beneil Dariush is going to nuked out by Quillen Southkill. I don't know if Hooker can beat some of these guys. He's ranked number 7 or 8, but he's not actually that good compared to the rest of the division. And then Michael Chandler has to pray he can hold down Rufy, or else he is going to get nuked.